Members of the National Association of Exclusive Buyer Agents are dedicated solely to home buyers. That means they only work with home buyers because they believe home buyers deserve 100% unconflicted representation. It's a unique yet uncomplicated way to work in real estate. So, who are these real estate agents choosing to only represent one side of the real estate transaction? Meet our exclusive buyer agents from all over the country.
Hi, my name is Paula Howard. I'm an exclusive buyer broker, and I work in the Orlando, Central Florida area. Years ago, I was a traditional agent when I first got my license. There wasn't anything that existed as far as representation for the buyer. It was mostly you have to list to live, and the things that traditional agents always say. So for all those years, I felt very uncomfortable, especially working both sides of the transaction and getting the whole commission. And I always felt like neither party was represented. The seller, I knew their bottom line. The buyer got excited and said, "Oh, we love this house, and we can afford up to this amount," and put the deal together, got the whole commission. And it just never felt ethical or honest to me. But that's what everybody was doing. So we moved to Florida from Louisville, Kentucky, and I decided not to enter the real estate business per se, and I opened up a custom home building business, and that was very successful. Did that for 15 years, and I enjoyed it, but I decided to retire that and do something a little bit less outside all the time in the hot heat building houses. So I looked back into real estate in Florida, and in the meantime, after I got my license, I found out that exclusive buyer agency was very popular and it was growing. It had started in the 90s. This was back in 2000, and I looked into that. I found a broker that had just started her exclusive buyer agency. I joined her firm, worked with her for a few years. She was a member of NAEBA, the National Association of Exclusive Buyer Agents. I became a member also because I was working under her. And NAEBA is a not-for-profit organization that is their purpose is to protect the buyer and represent and have agents that work under NAEBA that are exclusive buyer agents. They don't take listings. They only represent the best interest of the buyer. So after my broker that I was working for decided to retire, I opened my own company, continued to stay with NAEBA. I've been with NAEBA for 24 years, and it's a fabulous organization with dedicated buyer brokers and agents across the nation. And our number one goal, above commission checks or anything else, is to make sure that the buyer is represented and gets the best terms and price. We negotiate on behalf of the buyer, and we feel that the buyer is king. You wouldn't go into a court of law and use the same attorney to represent you and the person that you're in conflict with. So why would you use the listing agent when you're purchasing a home? So I'm proud to be a member of NAEBA, the National Association of Exclusive Buyer Agents, and so happy that I found Exclusive Buyer Agency because that's where I've been happy.
Hi, I'm Rona Fishman, and I've been an EBA, an exclusive buyer agent, for 33 and a third years. And like a lot of people who enter real estate, it isn't like I grew up saying, I'm going to be a real estate agent. I was a teacher, I was a counselor, and I was looking for a place where I could teach and I could counsel and it would be helpful to other people. And I thought I'd be a real estate agent for a year or two and then go back to the classroom, but I got hooked, and this is how. I began as a real estate agent, going out with people, showing them places, and then finding out that when they go to negotiate, my job was to get the highest price for the seller. That was not for me. And I made it really clear to myself that if that's what I have to do, I'm going back to the classroom immediately. And then I found the Massachusetts Association of Buyers Agents, and then eventually the National Association of Exclusive Buyer Agents. Why did that make a difference? Because when you're an exclusive buyer agent, what it means is that you are working with a person and you are their fiduciary counselor. You are the person who is helping them digest a body of information. What kind of houses are out there? What kind of houses won't work for them? What kind of houses will work for them? Teach them how to use that information to do something good in their lives. And then when it gets to the nuts and bolts, the money, I'm on their side. My job is to make sure they have all the rights and they have the best price they can get from the seller. And it doesn't have to be adversarial. It's not adversarial most of the time. The buyer wants to get the house and the seller wants to sell the house. And if the buyers weren't qualified for the house, they wouldn't be looking at it. So essentially, I get to help people say, this is how I want to create my house. This is how I want to create my home. This is how I want to put all my things together and call this my resting place. And I get to be part of that. And it's a great honor. It's really, really fun. As a teacher, I counsel too much. And as a counselor, I taught too much. And as an exclusive buyer agent, I get to do both all the time. And it's really fun. If you're in an exclusive buyer agency office, in an exclusive buyer brokerage, every agent is working for the best price, the best terms, and the best experience for buyers. They're not going back and forth and 1 minute trying to get the most money for a house and the next minute trying to get the most house for the money. They've got all these skills, and the people in my office talk to one another and say, hey, I got a great deal for somebody, and this was the sentence that I said to the listing agent that made all the difference. Put it in your pocket, and when you need to use it, you'll get to use it. And it just grows. The base of experience in my office just keeps growing because people bring in, this is something I saw at a home inspection, and don't buy it. And tell your clients, if you see this, this is what this is about. So the thing about an EBA office is every agent is working for buyers and only for buyers. And therefore, they're looking for how to give the buyers the best edge in what they're trying to do, which is turn their money into their home. And it's such a fun thing to do. And because we're not thinking about how to get the most money for the house in the back of our heads, because we might be a listing agent at some later time, we have this clarity of purpose. We never want prices to go up. It's more consistent with my values. Housing prices are really high now. It's really hard to get a home. And every single home, I try to fight that in every single home. If I can get something for $5,000 or $10,000 less, I'm doing something good for the world and for the people who are sitting in front of me. And that's why I'm an EBA.
I'm Ben Clark, President of Homebuyer Representation in Salt Lake City, Utah. When I first came across exclusive buyer agency, I thought it was the greatest thing because I saw buyers getting a lower level of representation than sellers in general in real estate transactions. Well, a few years later, I learned about the National Association of Exclusive Buyer Agents, other agents like me that only represented buyers at the highest level possible. NAEBA educates home buyers about the importance of having an agent on their side and helps buyers find an exclusive buyer's agent. I think it's so important for buyers to have loyal, professional representation on their side of the transaction. Buyers with an agent on their side will have a better experience and achieve a better outcome than buyers who work with the seller's agent or no agent at all. NAEBA has classes, conferences, and meetups to support us. NAEBA members also abide by a code of ethics and a standards of practice that are far above what traditional realtors and real estate agents practice because they focus on representing buyers at the highest level. So if you're passionate about representing buyers at the highest level, join NAEBA today. And if you're a home buyer or a future home buyer, I invite you to find your best buyer's agent by finding an exclusive buyer's agent at NAEBA.org.
We understand the unique challenges homebuyers face, and because we only represent buyers, we are committed to the highest ethical practices in the real estate industry. NAEBA is the only national real estate organization dedicated to serving homebuyers 100% of the time. It's the right way to work in real estate, which is why our members proudly say, "We are NAEBA."